team, welcome to 10 Talks. Today's conversation is a combination of our guests who have been college coaches and professional volleyball athletes, really sharing with us how to struggle create success. So Kathy, as you've enjoyed listening to our guests, what are the winning strategies that our guests are going to get to hear about today?
Boy, we talked to some elite coaches that really gave us some good ideas, and we also got to talk to some athletes and get their hacks for success. But, you know, one of the things when working with elite level women athletes is perfectionism. And I think we learned today, what are some ways that we get high achieving women to deal with these tendencies towards perfectionism? In sports, struggle means losses. And so for coaches, we're talking about how do we deal with and learn from losses. For athletes, struggle is how do we learn something new? How do we get bad at something we were good at in order to get better? And we learn from our athletes some hacks that they have for dealing with that.
Well, it's all about really that struggle, and can we come up with winning strategies and actually have enough self-compassion, grace, just challenge ourselves to embrace that struggle so that it becomes our success. And I think so many times we're too impatient, and that's what we get to hear as we listen to our great guests, is they really just challenge us to stay inside the struggle, to really figure it out and to learn so that we can experience that success. Enjoy our conversation, team.
Obviously, there is no success, without struggle, and there's really no growth without getting uncomfortable. And we live there, in college athletics, in our program. I mean, we live like what is it? The little bumper sticker, comfort, success starts at the end of your comfort zone, right? And certainly with a very high level women's basketball program, you're getting uncomfortable every day, whether it be physically, through your mental, emotional fitness. So I just think, we teach, there's no such thing as failure. We're just figuring things out. And, just everything's a learning opportunity, right? There's no mistakes, and not even just being at peace with failure, but really kind of embracing, the necessity of it in our program, which is hard. I mean, these young women, they're all high achievers. They don't embrace it right away. They fight it, and they lack self-compassion a lot of times, when they don't achieve what they wanted to achieve, and things don't come quite as easily maybe at this level as they always have.
And I think about my first 5 years as a head coach, and I'm in my 40th season, my 38th season, and the experiences that you have along the way, and nothing teaches you better than getting your butt kicked on the field. So you have to walk away with the humility that, wow, I can be a lot better. And I've had, everybody talks about my number of wins, but man, there's like 500 and some losses in there. And I've learned a lot of great lessons on that field. And you learn how to win by winning. I always say, you don't learn how to win when you lose, you learn how to lose. But you definitely have to take the lessons that are meant, whether it's you're not doing it good enough. You learn not to overreact. And I really believe in the 24-hour rule of, I got to step back and not judge this loss, not judge myself, my staff, or my players. My first reactions are always horrible, but I have to give it time until we come up with another plan to get us back on track, and understanding that the ups and downs that go with the season are as what we do. It's like crisis management. We're always trying to get ourselves back on a track. When things are going really well, I'm the first to say, let's not get too high on ourselves. Nobody cares who's ranked number 1 in March.
I wish I could say that I did it very gracefully and without any pushback, but if Dave Booz, the assistant coach of Florida, listens to this, he would have to call you and tell you to delete the podcast. I struggled at first to fail because it feels like when you're a freshman, you're building a resume and nobody knows you and nobody cares that you won Gatorade Player of the Year in whatever state you're from. You are what mistakes you made that day, especially to the people you play with. And that even if someone tells you that's not true, it's how you feel. And that's, the bottom line. If you're a senior and you make some mistakes and you played 6 rotations and were an All-American last year, nobody's going to say anything. But, it's hard when you're trying to just do the right thing to get this feeling of trust from your teammates. And then you get into spring practice and the coach says, it doesn't matter if the ball goes to target, just do this technique. And it's so hard to take that mindset out of your head. So one thing that helped me that they did at Florida is if I was doing a passing practice and they said, keep your shoulders down and it doesn't matter where the ball goes, just keep your shoulders down and hold your platform after the pass, something I've struggled with for my entire career. And by the way, we're going to blow the whistle and you'll lose a point every time you don't do that. So now the result is, now in order to win the drill, because we all want to be competitive and love playing, I have to now do something technically. It has no impact on the result of the ball. And that really helped me to get that to get the result of the ball out of my head. And instead, the result of my body, the result of technique, the result of feeling that you did something the right way. And I felt I rewired my brain during that time to feel a sense of reward when something felt right or felt good. And I'm a words of affirmation love language, which we took that test at Florida and shared it with everyone on the team. So they also knew that if the ball doesn't go to target, the number one thing I'm thinking is there's silence, they're critiquing me, they're this, and just to hear a coach say, that's what we needed right there from you. And it was so, so impactful for me to have a coach who understood me on a personal level like that.
For me, I just have to remind myself that you can't have a perfect game all the time, and being like graceful, giving myself grace in that aspect, and knowing that I won't have great practices all the time, and being able to see it for what it is, try to figure out, why did I not have a good practice? Why did I not have a good game? And then being able to put that in the past, but take the lesson that I learned from it and move forward, I think is a huge, huge aspect to wanting to struggle and keep going, like fall down and get back up,
And how do you do that, Brittany? I mean, let me just probe a little bit more. Do you meditate? Do you read?
So,
do you listen to music? I mean, how do you
cook?
Carlette,
So with Carlette, we actually, I set commitments before each game. So small things that I can focus on, like this game, I'm really focusing on controlling my energy, or going for it is something I've been saying recently, is like, I'm committed to really going for it during the game. So I have that to focus on. And then after the game, I check in and I rate how well I did. Did I do it at a 5? Did I do it at an 8? Whether we won or lost, just how well did I honor my commitment? And for me, that system has been like really life-changing for me, playing on the court and having one small thing to focus on, to check in with when I'm struggling or if I'm doing well, and then being able to reflect and figure out why I did it or why I didn't do it after the game, and then where can I go from there? What can I do better tomorrow or the next time I play or the next game, to be able to grow and progress as a player.
Yeah. How do you do it, Carli? I mean, how do you, so Brittany was talking about how does she stay focused and growing, tuned into the struggle and why it's worth it and what's happening with it and what she's trying to focus on. I mean, do you have certain hacks that you use and stuff to talk to yourself, to calm yourself, to motivate yourself?
Yeah, it's always different kind of how like zoomed into the moment we are. I think in a game where the struggle can't last too long, otherwise there's a game on the line. I try and find something that I'm really confident in, regardless of kind of what's happening around me. So for me, that's always been my blocking. If I can just get this skill intact, get good touches, get in a good spot, the other stuff will come. If I'm struggling in the moment with my offense, okay, my offense isn't great, but I can hopefully contribute. I'm an opposite, so not too much, but a little bit on defense, get some good touches on defense. And I think in the moment of a game, when I know that I'm in a point of struggle, I actually recently had one, not a terrible game, but not a great game by any means. It's just
deciding what I'm letting like come in, whether it's from my coach or my teammates, and recognizing if that in that moment is helping me. So my coach, I was not having a good defensive game in the back row, and he was on me, and he was giving me all this information, whether it's technical or tactical or all this stuff. And it was just very noisy for me. And I know that that wasn't going to help me. So I was like, Carli, you're a good defender if your eyes are just early, like on the setter or on the attacker, and you just like react. Don't overthink of like where you're standing or what move you have to do. Just like have good eye work, and it'll all come, like muscle memory will kick in and you'll be fine. So I think in the moment of a game is just learning what to filter, what information is going to help me get back on the right path, and also looking to other skills that I'm confident in, depending on the day.
The way that I want to be, because I'm a big believer in the transformative approach to coaching. And even though we're BCS level, big business, lots of money being spent, we just don't. We're never, I'll ride off to this into the sunset, doing things the way we do things, which is very much, putting the woman ahead of the athlete, and, making sure that they're in a good place as a person first, because that kind of takes care of everything. So, I think I've grown probably, even though culture has always been first for me as a coach, even as a really young coach, I think I've grown immensely in how we help them personally.
Well, team, hope you enjoyed that conversation. And I don't know about you, but I think Kathy and I certainly understand how do you go from struggle to success. And that's what journey we're on. We're really figuring out how do women win our way. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear from you. If you're interested, go to howwomenwin.com. Thank you for joining us today, and go out and figure out your winning strategies.